So it's the last official full day of Tantra week of solstice. No more Tantra, but it's the last day of workshops. It's where we celebrate this evening. We have a special meal and celebratory events. There's skits. The different service exchange teams put together these routines and skits, which are always fun and playful. It's a lot of fun to be here in this space, to commune, to connect, and to see what comes up for this new year. And I was reflecting with my cabin mate earlier this morning about how, for me, the theme that I realized that came through, it's about responsibility and taking on more than I should, and seeing my patterns, seeing what I grew up with, how I've shouldered so much. I've taken on so much shit, okay? Taken on other people's shit, taken on other people's stuff. And the reality is, I don't need to do it all. It's been in my nature to always want to take care of everyone, and it's not to say that's ever going to change. But I also need to notice and allow others to take care of me. That's the hardest thing for a lot of us, especially as women. We are natural nurturers. We're householders. We came in with the huge responsibility of just being a woman, period. Look at all that we do. We give birth. We go through cycles every single day, every single week. Our physical body is shifting and changing. Something we could never imagine if we just see it on like that minuscule microscopic level. And we need to take ourselves and give ourselves credit and deserving, nurturing time, self-care, self-love, and appreciation, celebrating all those milestones, all those things we've done in our lives. Because that is who we are. We come to this life with so much to give, and we have to be willing to allow it to be received as well. So in the beginning of this whole experience for me, I was constipated. I wasn't able to go to the bathroom. And I joked with Wendy, who is my cabin mate, and she is one of the nurses on staff. And I said, you know what? I take on everybody's shit, literally and physically. And I just started laughing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just explained to myself why it is I'm in the position I'm in, you know? And energetically, when I come here, I'm on security, I'm holding space on that level, right? And at the same time, it's also in my life, the people I love, the people I care for, those of you who show up to the group. I do that, you know, the community, the service that I extend to my yoga village, where I'm holding space for Kundalini yoga teacher training of almost 30 people, Beyond Addiction, also a huge group. I'm serious. This is like, you know, this is not for the weak at heart. If you're doing this work, if you are showing up, doing your own personal growth work, and then holding the space for others to do theirs, there has to be balance. And it should not be looked or frowned upon just because you're taking time for yourself, you're creating and establishing healthy boundaries. It's really easy to look at someone like myself and go, oh, she's got it easy. I'm going to tell you right now, my life has never been easy. First, I made it hard on myself because of the old patterns and stories and belief systems I took on from my parents, those roles and responsibilities that, you know, our loyalty to our lineage, right? This is the craziest thing. I was even thinking about that earlier, about how, you know, generations will hold on to resentment. You know, this family doesn't like that family because of they wronged them back in the past, you know? Think of The Godfather, right? It's like, seriously, let that shit go. It doesn't apply. It doesn't apply to you. It's a pattern that you felt loyal to and you took on the story. Let it go. It's not your responsibility to hold on to the resentment and the grudge. It's your responsibility to heal and to show forgiveness, and how easy it is to let go of the shackles of the past for yourself, but also for your lineage. Healing the ancestral line. It starts with you when you're ready, and it's huge. It isn't for the weak at heart. And so, continuing with this theme and doing that one meditation with my arms extended out, OMG, I'm just going to tell you right now, the first one And I said this earlier. The first one was easy. It was in the feminine. It was in that, like I could do it. I held it the entire time. I was even like, wow, I was surprised. But that second one after lunch, in the masculine, it brought up some seriously old stuff. Men trying to control me all my life. Realizing that as a woman in powerful positions, that if you're an overachiever, you give too much, which has been my behavior. That has been my pattern. Always trying to make sure everybody's taken care of, partially because of the fear of rejection and the wanting to be liked and the connection. And I see that because I know that. But that's on me. And some of it's also on my internal dialogue, because we're our own worst critics. And I know I am my own worst critic. But the reality being that the environments I would work in, Air Force, government contracting, we're talking the old Piscean environment where it's all about you do as I say. And it's all about control and manipulation and forcing power, not innate power. And so I would be an overachiever in the minute, and especially being a woman in that environment, because it's a patriarchal, it's a masculine, and men do these types of jobs, especially in IT and especially in engineering. So one little mistake, and all of a sudden, I'm the sacrificial lamb in my past. That happened many a time in my career. It didn't, get me down. I kept on being who I was, but that's because I have a strong personality. I've always just kept on showing up despite all of the challenges. I'm sorry, but that's just who I am. It's not about fighting, it's about just being. Hey, this is who I am. I'm not needing to have to fight or to prove myself. I'm just being myself. And sometimes that's challenging to also weaker personalities technically, because they feel like they got something to prove. And that's not about me, that's about them. But it taught me so much, because I was very naive in much of my career, thinking I was doing the right thing, I was helping. And when you bring up things that are going wrong in organizations, it's seen as you're telling those people in higher positions that they're not effective, that they're failing, and they feel they're being pointed out, when that was never my intention. So in my career, being the sacrificial lamb in many cases, no matter how hard I would work, if they could find one thing as a woman, because women were supposed to be perfect at everything, it would pretty much negate, null and void, any greatness, any success, any amazing stuff that I did, all of my achievements. Oh, that doesn't count anymore because she made one mistake. And does that count? I mean, because then they make sure it would paper trail follow you, or, find some way to, oh, did you know? I got blacklisted in an environment that was all about intelligence and communications and computer systems in a government environment. And that was very painful to my ego. It was very painful to my career. It hurt me. And it really had nothing to do with my professionalism or my work. It had everything to do with pissing off the wrong person. That was the grand scheme. That was the reality of that situation. And it is what it is. And you know what? It was a great lesson. I had to go through the suffering and the change, the death of that career, that life, because nobody wants to feel less than. Nobody wants to be called or outed. I was no longer fitting in. I was ostracized from an environment that I knew, that I had created a great reputation in. And even though my reputation was good, now I was no longer part of this club, right? And I'm sorry to say, but it's still a boys' club. It is still masculinely based, strongly. But we need to be able to do better and find solutions instead of bullying or pointing out people's faults. We need to be uplifting and showing their strengths, because that's what this life is about. If we fixate on that one little thing, then we have completely taken ourselves out of being the uplifter, and now we're actually the problem, right? Now think about that. Most people won't realize that they will pathologize, only look at the past, and they'll look for the things that are wrong. They won't look for the things that are right. And it's that small, minuscule part. And that doesn't dictate the future. So you have to get out of the past in order to live in the present. That will also momentum build, create, when in the present, moment to moment, you build the momentum and you end up with the future. And it's only based on the moment, unless you're stuck in the past. And of course, then you end up with repeated experiences and lessons. And they're not always great. They're not always gifts with bows, but you know, a lesson can be a blessing. It's just how many times you have to go through it. Why not do things smarter instead of harder? So my theme and my own personal, I feel like this is the theme for this following year, is while I was sitting there with this posture and all the anger that erupted, I gave myself permission to allow others to hold me. Because I know this community, that we come here to heal the collective. And the more people we come together collectively, consciously, we're healing not just our ancestors, but we're doing this for everybody who can't show up, that doesn't have the strength or the fortitude or the resilience. And so for me to allow myself to be held was huge. It still angered me to even give that up, to surrender to it. But I also need to be held. And then I can take on other people's responsibility, but I also need to have others be there for me to support me. And that was a huge realization, and I've reflected, and I'm still reflecting upon it throughout last night. I journaled like crazy this morning. Small mistakes do not dictate huge failures in the future. And if you have some serious achievements in your life, and I know for myself, I have overcome many, many trials and tribulations. And that to me shows I will always be successful. And if I don't have little flub ups here and there, then I'm not human. And I am not a super person, I'm not a superhuman, I'm just super me. And I'm just trying to be the best I can right here, right now. It's the best any of us can do. And I hope that this inspires each and every one of you to embrace where you're at, honor yourself, and recognize you don't have to do it all, but you got to be willing to allow others to help you and see you through as well. So I have to go to the front gate. There's so much more I can share, and I'm sure more will come out. But this is my gift to you, that I hope that everything that I'm doing in my life to better myself also helps others, helps you, uplifts you, and lets you see that you yourself also can do the same. Because you deserve it. You're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. All you need to do is embrace every aspect of yourself and know that you are whole. You love every part of you. There's nothing wrong with you. I love you so very much. Let's just be the best we can and stop trying to beat ourselves up or let others do that to us.
Sandy shoes I never knew. The one I loved would be you. Perfection never had a name.
Happy Tantra.
Woo!
We did it. Thank you for making my first experience incredible, and I will be back.
You gotta dance it out, move that body. My security cohort, this is Parker. So I did a half and half shift. What does that mean? It means I did 3 hours of the first shift, overlapping 3 hours to the next shift. And it was really nice because we had the Bangara music. We were having our tea ceremony, security. Beautiful conversations, and conversations about all sorts of stuff. Things like we are born from the angels, to crystals and electronic magnetic frequencies and phones during Tantra, and some people's beliefs that they shouldn't be allowed in there. But then I was also reflecting on, it's all based on crystalline technology, and we can harness. If our belief system is so strong that we resist something, then we're just going to keep recreating it, obviously. Just like if our belief system is, I can change this, I can make this positive experience, I can turn this into something beneficial versus something obstructive, right? So here's Chadanatma passing by in the luggage truck. Picking up any luggage over there? Baggage?
No, actually admin borrowed it from us, so I'm taking it back.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and this masking tape.
Yes, we are all over the place.
Yeah.
But
they didn't return our masking tape, so I took a full roll that they had.
there you go.
They offered it, so it's
Abundance.
not- yeah, exactly.
When you share, when you offer, you get more in return as a result, right? That's how abundance works. It's going to be a prosperous year, isn't it?
For sure.
Alrighty, we'll catch you up in the bazaar in a little bit.
Is that
Salam.
Bye.
Bye. Happy holidays. We're all one big happy family here. So where I was speaking about the crystalline technology, if you believe that it is something to transmit a certain vibration, whether higher or lower, it is true for you, right? So why not harness it and intention it and use your energy to focus on a way to amplify and to spread that vibration that we're creating during Tantra is what I was sharing. And we just really had some beautiful insights and, sharing of ideas and observations and, personal, hey, this is what I observe, this is what I sense, this is what I know, like a lot of learning, a lot of sharing of knowledge. And, knowledge is power. The more you know, the higher your obligation to act accordingly, right? So the more you know, the better you know, right? When we know better, we know more, we know better, we do better, right? So it's all about application, it's all about integration, it's about upping your vibes. So I'm going to check out the bazaar. There were a couple tables I needed to stop into. I'm gonna maybe I'll show you what I'm looking at with the chiropractor who I've been going to off and on over the past few years here at Solstice. They hooked me up with some stuff for my stomach and this amazing pulse machine. It's called the PMF, Pulse Magnetic Force, I believe. I'll let you know. So I'm heading on there now, and the sun is feeling good, but you gotta stay in it to stay warm. Oh yeah, it's getting cold outside, but look at the sky. We're getting the sunset. Ooh, over by the lake. All right, y'all, it's time to go to bed. Everybody's in the cabin. We're only 4 of us left now, and actually 5. That includes me. And it's been an amazing day, beautiful conversations. I hope you enjoyed this video because I know I shared a lot of my reflections and I have so much more to share. We had an amazing conversation about cell phones and crystal technology and sacred geometry and the Anokis and so many cool things about different tribes and permaculture. I mean, this has been the most amazing. I have to say, it's been probably I can't say the best. I don't know. It's all good and it's all amazing because I've had such sweet conversations about solutions and, just awareness, and everybody's got something to share. So there's always someone to learn from. But the stuff that, of course, I was really appreciating was how I don't need to have all the answers, and I just enjoy people who are in such passion for what they research and they're, knowledgeable about. I mean, I have mine, and I see their passion, and they have this light in them, just like I'm sure I do when I speak about the things I'm passionate about. So I'm going to take a shower, check out my shower facilities. I'll turn that on so it can start getting warm now. It's on. I hope you all enjoyed this Tantra event. I love you all. I'm going to get some sweet dreams. Good night.